In front of you is your computer, phone, tablet, whatever you're watching this on, and you might have more devices than the one you're using. Likely, if you're watching on your phone, you have a laptop nearby, and vice versa. My point being, we are submerged in technology. We post, snap, search. Think about how often you've searched something and seen ads for weeks for something similar to that item or that item itself. Or you've gone somewhere and started seeing ads for places around you that you didn't even know about. I set to find out how and why this is possible, and who has access. My answer? Anything you search, purchase, post, say is being monitored. Now, the first three make sense. You search something, it's in your search history. You post something, it's in your post history. You purchase something, it's in your purchase history. It makes sense that those things are seen. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But voice, my voice, how is that possible? Well, for that, you can thank Siri, Alexa, Google Home, Bixby, anything you use and talk to for information or anything of the sort. Because these things store your voice recordings in order to get to know your voice better so that it reacts to you. However, when you speak to it, it's analyzed. And when it's analyzed, it sees what you asked, what you talked about, anything. And shows ads for things like that. Think about the time where you started talking about dogs to your phone, and then dog stuff came up. That is because your voice is being recorded. And that's proven fact. Now, as for who? Anyone with an internet connection. Companies, marketers, hackers, your grandma's great aunt who you never knew about and wanted to learn more about you. Anybody can do this if they know the places to go. What sucks about this is that privacy may seem like a basic human right. However, it is just a privilege that to most companies is just a dollar figure. It's how much you cost and are worth to them. How much you're worth spending. A study was done by a man named Frank Zanier, where he was doing a Kickstarter for a privacy protection business he was opening. He spent $2 a day. Just $2. Had his own data mined, which means hunted for, and this gave GPS location, online activity, and even pictures from the webcam he was using. And he raised a total of $2,700 plus. $2 a day. Even if this is just one day, and you pay $2 and you can find out all this information about one person. And sometimes this is free. Sometimes this is free. Now, you get what you pay for. If you pay for it, it's likely going to be more accurate, whereas if you don't pay for it, probably not going to be as accurate, but it'll at least give somebody a starting point. Now, as you see on here, it says consensual release of data without consensual release of data. Seems a little redundant, right? Well, remember that terms of use agreement and that privacy policy that we all skip over and just agree to so we can get to whatever we want to use? Now the marketers and companies have access to your data because the consensual release of data was in all that legal jargon that nobody reads, because unless you're a lawyer, you don't know what it means anyway. Now, to me, this seems a little ridiculous. It feels like, you probably should be able to read that in layman's terms. Even if it's the last page, that just gives you a justification that says, here's what this says. Because they do have to have the legal jargon for legal reasons in order not to be held accountable for anything, but nobody knows how to read legal jargon. So, that's how these companies and marketers get your information and use it to give you what we call targeted ads and anything else. However, sometimes companies and people don't need a terms of use and privacy policy agreement because they do it illegally. Remember the Facebook scandal where everybody's data was being used even though they selected the privacy things, and Mark Zuckerberg got in a heck of a lot of trouble? People do that too, I'm sure. And I'm sure that's how hackers and data sellers get their data. Likely illegally. However, never fear, the law is here. A lot of states are cracking down on privacy policies for businesses. Currently, 25 states and Puerto Rico. Big tech is deciding that privacy is up to the user. And these include Apple, Google, and Amazon, and probably a bunch more. And due to the crackdown on privacy policies, this is hurting companies' wallets. So they're trying to comply as best they can, but they also are trying to find ways around it. Because they lose targeted ads now. Targeted ads are the ones where you search something and now all those ads pop up about whatever you looked up. That one thing your friend mentioned, you were like, oh, what is that? And you looked it up and you're like, oh God, I don't want that. And you're seeing it everywhere now. Those are targeted ads. And losing those, hurting companies' wallets because they're no longer showing you things that you're likely to buy. And we have the 14th Amendment to thank for that, mostly because of the privacy statement that came with Casey versus Planned Parenthood. I'm not going to go big into that case, but basically, by the end of it, it set a precedent for the privacy we are entitled to. So privacy is a big deal, but it is not as private as we thought. So keep an eye on what you post, what you search, what you say, and be as safe as you can out there.